Peace and high frequencies, everybody. Um, we'll tap in on several different topics that's going on right now. And of course, I'm going to circle around to my dreams. Um, I haven't really shared my dreams at all this week. First part, some of the dreams were personal. It wasn't any collective dreams, it was some dream messages from me. And then secondly, I don't know if you all have had this go on in the dream space, but it gets to be so, I would say, either deep or high vibrational, that it's even hard to start to interpret. So when it gets to that level, I know I have to raise my frequency up more to be able to pull the messages. And so, like I told you all, I'm telepathic, and especially in my dreams, all the messages are, telepathic messages. It's not like I hear anything. And so, with that being said, my all of my interpretations that you all have heard are basically me knowing and actually feeling what's going on in the connections and conversations and things that's going on in the dream space or the astral plane spirit realm. Um, Last night was no different. Um, and is even when I reflect back on it, is it kind of funny to me because I see these things, but now that I'm in this realm, when I come back here, I'm like, there wasn't no sound, it wasn't any word, like what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? But then I also could think of it as another space is the fact that, it was just of a higher frequency, and I personally believe at one point in existence that we didn't need to talk, because I honestly feel like sometimes even putting language, especially the English language, to what's going on, it makes it of a lower frequency. So when I have these dreams and words aren't being said, I kind of see it as a higher frequency because it's telepathic and words don't need to be played out, because there's a knowing. And so in my dream space last night, y'all, I was in a home of some sort. And my guy friend, he was like, he needed to use my computer. And I was okay. I was like, okay, I went into my room and he was in the other room on my computer. He was in there for a long time. And then I remember zapping myself back to where he was. And he said that he was finished doing what he had to do on my computer. And then he said, oh, I forgot something. And he had put this chip in my computer, and I saw him like pull the chip out. And I was just like, why would you put a chip hidden in my computer? Like, I didn't understand why he would do that. So anyway, moving on, we left their location, and it was like we were talking about going out or going somewhere together. And I was like, "Ooh, I gotta change clothes." Now I remember having on like a white T-shirt with blue writing, and I remember like some type of blue skirt or shorts or something I had on. I remember having on blue and white. We were walking, through this house or wherever we were, and I saw this yellow dress, and this is the yellow dress that I have in this room. I saw the yellow dress, and it was like I called it to me. It was like my hand went out to grab it, and the dress just came to my hand. It's so cool now that I'm like here in this state. There, it was just kind of like regular. That's what I do. All right, so I was walking. I was like, I'm gonna wear yellow. I'm gonna wear a yellow dress. I put my hand out. The yellow dress came to me, and I was like, I had it in my hand. And then we was talking about leaving. Now, I never put the yellow dress on, which was weird. Once I woke up, I was like, damn, I never put the yellow dress on. But I remember like it gravitating and coming towards me like a magnet. And then I remember being outside. Now, and I'm looking outside at the leaves on the trees and the changing of the colors right now. That's why I'm sitting right here looking out the window. And I remember seeing like a gold leaf in my dream. And with my mind, I was able to take this gold leaf and swirl it around in a circle and then drop it down. And that time I didn't use my hands or anything. It was just my thought. I was able to swirl the leaf around and drop it to the ground. So then we go out to this location. We had a conversation. He and I had this conversation, and that's personal. I'm not going to share that part. But then we go to this location, and it was kind of like it was party nightclub situation, something similar to that. And I remember like these different energies and entities that were around. Now, everything didn't feel good. Like, I didn't feel good about the different energies and entities that was at this location. Now, some of them felt good and some of them didn't. When I'm getting this ringing in my left ear, y'all, while I'm talking to. But anyway, some of them felt good, some of them didn't. And now it's starting to be vague about what happened, because something happened. Oh, I remember. Coming back. We were in line waiting to get in to this building, or something was going on. It wasn't even like now that I'm thinking, it wasn't even like a party. It was kind of like either a gym or a shop or something. They were selling something. I can't remember. But I was standing in line with him. And then this guy I went to school with, and I think here he may be running for some type of political office. He was in front of us, and I saw him, and I was like, hey, and he grabbed my arms, and we kind of hugged. And then I was like, it was good to see you, da, 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 da. And then I told my girlfriend, I was like, he went to school with me. And he was like, oh, okay, it was cool. And then this Asian guy came up, and this Asian guy grabbed my arms, and he was like massaging my arms and stuff. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, what? I didn't understand. So, and then he walks off. So then I tell my girlfriend, I was like, why you didn't say nothing to him? Did you see him rubbing on my arms? And he was like, he was so apologetic about it. He was really sorry. So next thing I know, I climb up on this ladder. Well, I was on this ladder, and this ladder catapults me all the way over to the other side of the parking lot. It was almost like a roller coaster ride. I'm holding on. And then right when you think I'm about to fall and smash and hit the ground, it slowly just lowers me down to the ground like it knew, you better not drop her. Like this ladder or whatever I was on knew, like, you better not drop her. You slow your fucking roll and you ease her down. And I eased down and I climbed out of it. And then I walked up back in at the line with him. We go in. I can't remember. Like I said, I'm not remembering what was going on inside, but I remember us leaving out of that building. Now, we leave out. We look to the left, and to the left, we see like this. It reminds me, it was bigger than like a Rolls Royce, but it was like a Rolls Royce. And it was like the Phantom or something like that. And it had the emblem on the top of the car, but it was kind of like two different colors. It was kind of like it was like an ombre burgundy and black, right? But it had two sides of it, and one side had like a viper. When I said viper, like snake viper symbol on one side, and the other side I didn't know what it was. And I was like, okay. So I remember my guy, he was saying, I wonder who car this is that was in there. And I was like, well, it was a whole lot of, high-end baller people in there, da-da-da-da-da. It's kind of like me giving my interpretation of the telepathic messages we were sending each other. And then we walk out, and I'm not really looking at the car, but I'm seeing stages, like 3 stages of artists who were outside, like not in the parking lot, but outside on the sidewalk, or almost like it would be a shopping plaza, but they were stages of 3 different sets of people performing. And one of them I really was drawn to. I looked over and I was like, why are they out here performing? But it felt like they was trying to draw energies to them. Okay. And I was becoming aware of them doing that. And then I remember waking up after that. Now, several parts of the dream, now that I'm explaining it, kind of is coming to my awareness. Um, we have to really, and I know right now we are all using it to our advantage, when it comes down to technology. But you remember the first part of the dream where I said my guy friend had took and he put a chip or something into my computer, and then he was trying to take that chip out, while I wasn't looking. I was like, well, why do you have a chip in my computer anyway? All right. So that right there to me is a symbolism of kind of like Big Brother. And there are chips in our phones, of course, in our TVs, all type of electronics. Some people use the Alexa, Siri, like all these different things, the Google, all these little things around your home that you can be like, hey, Alexia, what's the temperature outside? Hey, Alexia, what time is it? Hey, da 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 da, right? And these are just the latest technology, and we may think it's convenient to have it in our phone, in our homes, right? And even using it on our phone, but we are giving it for first and foremost our voice recognition, and not to say that it doesn't already exist out there. Because something very similar that I've been saying that on Velvet Ma'at channel, she said on one of her videos, is that they already have our DNA. For people who saying they not going to do Ancestry or African Ancestry and da 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 because they don't want you to get your DNA. Baby, they already have your DNA. They've been had your DNA, especially if you're born in a hospital, you've been to a hospital, you've been to a doctor's office, you touch stuff, you whatever, they got your DNA. So, woo, woo, woo. But having something that's in your home, voice recognition, or even just the technology, I feel like that, not right now. I don't even feel like it's right now, but I feel like moving forward, probably in the next 5 to 6 years, they're going to really have these chips in places that we may not know, because in the dream, it was hidden in my laptop. And that's even going to be like a thing. Like, I feel like they may even have these chips in our laptops and our desktop, our MacBooks and things of that nature. So being cognizant of that, and how we move, and even for some people, it may be advantageous for you to go off the grid. I'm not opposed to that. We may have to move to that space. Just depends on what it looked like for you and your family of moving off the grid. And some people, you have little ones, you may not be able to do that, or you may have little ones and you figured out how to do it, because there's ways around every fucking thing, y'all. And that's another thing, kind of stepping out from the dream, but one of the things here in this reality that's really hard for a lot of people to give up, that's cause of a lot of woes in our life, is the fact that we are chasing the bag. And that's kind of like a term that's being used a whole lot of, like, chasing the bag, stay in your bag, and all this kind of stuff about the bag, right? And really, we got to get these people back their ancestor money. As point blank, period. To me, we have to start connecting with those like-minded individuals who understand that bartering is king, not cash. We have to understand that connecting with each other is how we actually should be maneuvering in this world, and really what we was doing before they actually created their own ancestor money and we started to worship it. So a lot of the issues that we have going on right now, where we can't say what we want to say, we can't move the way we want to move, we can't create music the way we want to create music. We are creating music that they want to put out because it's an agenda. We can only say and do the things as athletes because they paying you and you're their slave. Right. So because we're getting in the bag, staying in the bag, and chasing the bag, just to give them back the bag. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never fucking understood it, getting the bag, staying in the bag, and chasing the bag and all this kind of stuff, when at the end of the day, when you do get it, you giving it right fucking back to them. So at the end of the day, the ritual that they have with this ancestor money that has their ancestors on the money is really holding up its weight. And we're taking who we are, because I had this conversation with a friend of mine. I'm like, damn, as melanated people, we are so talented, but we really ain't even talented. This is just us walking in who we are. We gods, you know what I'm saying? So to them, it's talent. because they can't do it. But to us, it's like it's natural. We're geniuses. We are smart in math, science, English, languages, things with our hands. We're unique. We're athletic. We're everything, you know. And so, being that they have created a way to capitalize off of just who we are, as being melanin dominant people, they have programmed us, and they have created us, I wouldn't say programmed us, but they have created a society and a culture, and this is universal, to need their currency, right? And outside of needing their currency, we don't know what life would look like or what life would be like. And I was telling my friend about this a couple of years ago. Like, we had this conversation, and he was like, it's really like with athletes and everything, it's, who we all got to be slaves. So we got high end slave, we got low end slave, we got people in the middle, and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, yeah, that's true. But the thing about it is, it has to be a collective of us that get together and say, hey, let's look at creating our own society, off the grid as much as we can, and barter and do what we can do. Or let's say, hey, shit, it's enough of us that ain't collected enough thousands and millions in our lifetime that we can take the money that we have and say, hey, we don't need to live in your societal norms anymore, that we can shift ourselves outside of what the needs we would say would be. Now, we have solar power in order to have different things in our homes. We have people in the community that grow foods, that grow our plant medicines, that grow our herbs, and create our tinctures. We have people in society who are teachers, who are educators, who can go back to the Imhotep ways of education and science and mathematics and everything that we need to know. So it's deep rooted within us. So really, we are giving them our power to chase the bag, to grab the bag for what? It's kind of like what really is going on is the fact that we don't know the unknown, and this is all that we know. And if we do something that we've never done before, we're chartering on unknown territories. And sometimes, even in our regular life, outside of me talking about living off the grid, but the unknown and something that's not familiar can sometimes be, scary or frightening or challenging to you, because you don't know what you may run up against or what may occur, right? So, but that's something that, those of you all who are looking outside of living in the matrix, that may be something that we may have to look deeper into. But anyway, moving along into the dream. So that was the aspect of the chip. So I don't really know me being catapulted with that ladder and then being gently set down. That can mean a variety of things. But going back to the yellow dress. Now, I told you I was able to pull the yellow dress to my hand. Like, the yellow dress just came to me like a magnet. And then I swirled around the leaf in a circle, and then it fell down. If you all have noticed, a lot of things in my dreams have been connected to things that I can do with my hands. And that's just me coming into an understanding of power. Pay attention to your dreams, your understanding, and what your powers are coming to you in your dreams. Like, you're going to know what your power is in your dreams. Some of you all will be able to fly, soar all around. You have a lot of dreams about flying. You may have a lot of dreams about shooting out energy from your eyes. You may be electric being or lightning. Electricity is good. Remember that time I was shooting out electricity from my hands. You may be able to read minds, and or you may start to see a lot of things that's happening in the future. You may have like dreams of the past and the future. You may be able to dig into the Akashic records. Whatever it is, you're going to start to receive those messages in the dream of what your superpowers are. And you have to start working with your superpowers, and you have to start protecting them too. Okay. So you'll start to see and protect it. Just like in the dream, yellow, You know, I've done the video before on Heteru. Of course, yellow is Heteru. Pink, now I'm always wearing pink. Pink is Heteru and Oshun. That's the central, of course, creative, imaginative, imagination, visualization, energy. Okay, it's that creative spark, that creative force. Okay, so when I pulled that to me, I didn't have to put it on because it was already drawn to me like a magnet, because it was already who I am. So knowing that I had that creative force, that magnet within my hands, just start to catapult the dream or push the dream into another aspect of my subconscious mind. All right, and that's when we came into seeing the people that one person that I went to school with, and then being catapulted on the ladder. Now, fast forward, going outside, you know, there was the Phantom, or the big Rolls Royce car that was ombre burgundy, that had the Viper on one side, and something had something else. Now, the snake. All right, the snake always, in my mind, represents the Kundalini energy, the rising of the Ida and Pangala up the Shushuma. Okay, so you have your swirling energies that's come up. Remember, I had the dream before where I was sitting outside in the forest, and my energy center started to light up, and I saw Ida and Pangala shoot up the Shushuma. This is the same thing. We are seeing the Viper on the car represent Kundalini energy, okay? And the Kundalini energy rising, and me going into another stage of the dream. So, as I started to look away from the Phantom, from the Rolls Royce and the Viper, remember, I see these three stages, okay? Then it kind of goes into Sebek, the opener of the way. Now, the way is open. Remember, if you all know, the tree of life, I went through tree of life before, and I'm not going to go all the way deep into it. But, you know, I had on blue. I remember I said I had on blue and white, and some blue and white top, white t-shirt with some blue on it. And I had on either white shorts or white skirt. Remember, before I pulled the yellow dress to me, in blue and white, I go into Yemiya or Aset. That's at the base. That's right above Geb. Then we separate that. We go over to the right. We go to Heteru or Oshun energy. That's the yellow dress that I pulled towards me. Then we go to the left. That's the Sebek or the Viper. And then the three stages. That's the three stages, the opener of the way. You get to choose how you want to move up the tree, you know, how, or do you want to stay at the lower part of the tree, or do you want to elevate yourself? So there was three stages. It's the opener of the way. You get to choose, all right? So I told you, remember, I was hearing different music, and it felt like the music was like trying to draw people into their energy. And I was like, what the hell is this? That goes different ways, right? Because we know that music is a channeling force. We know that, you know, Sony and, you know, what is Def Jam, all these people, whoever that own all these different music companies, actually give us the bag, have us chasing the bag, or come and get us out of the hood and give us a bag, something we've never even had before. Because guess what? If you keep any type of being, you know, we're mammals. If you keep anything under subjection of not giving it food, shelter, water, the bare essentials that it needs in life, once you give it a piece or a scrap of what you've been living high on the hog, as they say, on, then they're willing to do whatever to get it. And that's why, you know, I to a certain extent, you know, I understand why people will sell themselves out, because they've lived in very extreme poverty. But at the same time, we have to have enough of us who are elders in the community to help these babies. And we should have enough of these rappers or music producers or people in the community who can go out and save these babies, or can go out and talk to them. Now, everybody ain't gonna be saved, because some people, shit, that's just their incarnation objective, is to come in and sell their soul and work for the opposition, because they are the opposition. So it ain't for us to save everybody, because everybody that look like us ain't for us. I'll put it like that. Just because somebody has the same skin tone as you don't mean that they for you. And I'm just put that out there too. But it's some of us who gets thrown to the wayside just because we don't have anybody there. So I think it definitely needs to be more people out there in higher levels that can start to get this these uh, youth who are showing interest in various areas, just like we do with science and technology and everything and politics and everything else, like who are out there, who are people like, Professor Griff and KRS-One, what producers and music artists who have made it, who are conscious, who can scoop up these shares. And it may be already out there, I just don't know. But I feel like those stages was representing us choosing. You get to choose, what are you listening to when it comes down to music? What is it drawing you into? Because whatever you're listening to, you're gonna be. Because it starts to formulate thoughts in your mind. All right. And as I matured on my spiritual journey, what I listen to has totally changed. And I've noticed people in my age group or even older, they'll still listen to that very low frequency music. And I haven't even heard it. I stopped listening to that music like almost 10 years ago. And they'll, have it playing. Like I'll go to different places, have it playing. I'm like, these people, it ain't fitness and stuff. Listen to this. But then I have to retract myself, because one thing that I know is maturity and being on your spiritual walk has no age, right? It doesn't matter. I know people who are more spiritually evolved, in their teens than people who are in their 50s. So it really doesn't even matter. It just depends on where you are in your walk. And some people, that's just where they are. And it's okay. They're still subjected to the low frequency materialistic realm here, and they don't know how to raise it up but still be grounded. You remember we talked about that last week with alchemy. And so we have to come into an understanding of how to do that, because we still gonna be in this world, but we don't have to be of this world. And we have to figure out ways that we can manipulate things to still be able to be in a high end of survival here in this realm. And so, yeah, that was my dream. And that's what I wanted to share. And I know it's a lot of talk now about anti-Semitism and, Kanye and Kyrie Irving and all this kind of stuff. And I'm not going to tap into that. I think what I've shared in a dream, and along with my own personal perspective, gives you an idea on what you need to do moving forward. And it doesn't even have room for, much conversation, because if you're still being fed by the enemy, then you gotta still follow the rules of the enemy. And if the enemy says that you are not right and you need to apologize, and they're feeding you, then what are you to do next? Think about it. Right? So as always, I'm gonna leave you all with that thought. I'm gonna leave that on your mind, right? Because my thing is that why have the conversation when your entire life and your entire success, quote unquote, of what you would call success for some people in this realm is built by the very people that you are talking about. And if you feel like, you shouldn't apologize, or if you feel like, this is not fair, if you feel like what I said is what I said what I said, you know what I'm saying? If you feel like that, then you need to return the goods back to the owner. You have to return the goods back to your owner. I can't have nobody living up in my house, but then they come upstairs and they want to tell the world about things that they don't like about me, or saying things against me, or my viewpoints. Now, no matter how factual it could be about me, you ain't fit to talk about me in my house, because A, I'm feeding you, I'm giving you money, I'm giving you a place to stay, I put the clothes on your back, I got to call you dry, like everything. I'm over here taking care of you, even though it may not be much coming out of my pocket, because really what I'm doing for you is a drop in the bucket, if that. But the fact that you got it is more than you had before, and I'm the one that did it. You want to go back to the motherfucking hood? You want to go back to being homeless? Okay, well, you need to apologize. You need to shut your fucking mouth, right? Or you need to get my shit back. You can just give me back all my stuff, pay me back all my stuff, and you can say and you can feel however you want to. And you can go back being regular Tyree Mervin. You can go back to being regular Tanya East. You can. But when you are deep in their game, you got to play by their rules. And we can't get mad at them for them telling, I can't. Because you gotta understand the rules of the game when you're playing against where you're playing the opposition's game. You're playing their game because the ball's always going to be in their court. All right, and that's just my thought process on it. And people may feel different. People may say, "Hey, we can say what we want to. We can do what we want to. We can do blah, blah, blah. You can't tell me what to do. Even though I live in your house and I eat your food and I drive your cars and I do all of this and I got all of this. You gave it to me. You still can't control my thoughts and how I feel. Well, you're right. I can't, but I can take all my shit back." Right? Because that's what they'll do. No more endorsements. No more this. You want to play on this TV board. You order this. Okay, if you want to say what you want to say, that's fine. You can. But give me my shit back. I know it's going to be some people out there that's not going to agree with me. And that's fine. That's just how I feel. I just want you to look at it from a different perspective. Because some people are talking about, what Shaq but all of these, I don't even want to say these people's name because all of these people played the game. They're in this, let's say this box is the game. They're in this box. Now, if it's 1 million of us in this box and we know we supposed to be in this box because we agreed to be in this box to get the bag. When one of us step outside the box and they got the bag, we got to try to pull them in because they're going to tell us, hey, y'all try to get him back in because he either going to get my shit back or he going to die. Somebody in his family going to pay for this. Somebody in his family going to pay for this. He either going to apologize. Somebody in his family going to pay for this. Okay? Or, he was in a magical car wreck and I think he may have been high. We found drugs in his system. And his car crashed into a pole. We don't know. We found drugs in his system. Sounded like he had a wild night after the game. Y'all know how shit go down. He was flying to a game and all of a sudden the plane crashed. The plane he was in crashed. Toby. We don't know what happened. Right? Y'all be careful how y'all move with these motherfuckers when y'all take people's stuff. Get in your bag and stay in your bag and this they bag. But anyway, that was my dream, y'all. That was my little baby rant. That was my thoughts on everything that's going right now. Even though I don't give all of this realm a lot of energy, I hear things that's going on. It's kind of fun to have a conversation. And I'm just like, it doesn't even really matter anyway. Right? None of it even really matter any fucking way. Where we should have our attention to during this time is inward. Like I said earlier, focus on your dreams. What powers are you seeing in your dreams? Or you may be even seeing them in awakened state. I know when I came home yesterday and I took my shoes off, I felt underneath my left foot the moving of the earth. Like it was like a vibration of I felt like the earth moved, like the what they call them, tectonic plates moving on the earth. Like I felt the vibration of the earth. I'm like, are we having an earthquake again? But it was only on my left, underneath my left foot. It wasn't the right foot. It was on the left. I had to move to a different place in the house and it still was there in the left foot. So pay attention to that. Pay attention to what's going on internally. Because as we are raising our frequency, as we're changing our vibration and raising ourselves up, we're going to see our inward world unfold itself into our outward world. And it's like inverting ourselves. Is this almost how it feels? It's like all the work that we put in here is going to open itself. It's like a lotus flower blooming from inside out, and we'll see our world just be created by everything we do. It's like, oh wow, everything that how I feel and the energy I put into myself and energy I put into others and how much I love and how much I love to be in nature and how much my intentions are pure and innocent, and I'm seeing it come back to me 100-fold. And so that's what you want for your life, y'all. Everything else that's going on in this world, yeah, rappers are gonna die, people are gonna die. Everybody didn't ask to keep going on this far. I know a lot of people are talking about, takeoff, and a lot of people are like, oh, we got to stop this back and forth. But that's these people's mission. That was these people's mission. These people's mission was to come in and transition when they transition. That was just what they asked to do. I don't I don't believe that people die early or before their time. I don't believe in that. I don't believe that um, people die before their time or it was an unexpected death. Maybe being unexpected to you, but with them and their soul family, they had already said that, yeah, I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna die when I'm 4 months. And I know I posted the video. I think it was Dolores Cannon when she was talking about everything starts in the mind, that there's no such thing as disease. And then somebody had the comment of like, what about the 4-month-old baby who dies, da 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 da, whatever. I don't even remember the comment, but yeah, you don't know the life that child had before this one. You don't know the karma that child has been through, has built up. You don't know the Akashic records for this child. You don't know. Just because, and a lot of us have and it's natural. A lot of us have more of a empathy for children who transition, and so there's more empathy for children to transition than adults, and I understand that. But at the end of the day, they have a soul that that's been around this cycle, who knows how many times, and part of their elevation was just for them to come in, experience life for those 4 months, bring some joy to their parents' life. They may have given their parents a whole newfound reason for existing, or their death caused their parents to elevate because they couldn't understand. Well, I don't think I've had this conversation before. And they could be like, hey, we don't even understand why our child died at 4 months. And that may lead their parents through a spiritual walk and elevate them, and then lead them to a higher understanding of who they are, right? And so we can't ever say that this baby should have lived a full life. No, that baby probably did right coming in for 3 months and leaving. They did everything they were supposed to do, and if they may not even have to reincarnate anymore. That may have just been like their last mission was to come in, be a baby for 3 months, bring some joy to these people life who was in the soul tribe with them, because they hold the same frequency and DNA and everything. They from the same star system. Come in because they need to ascend. So you come in as a baby, you die, and then that's going to help them ascend to the next level. And you've done your job. Now you can move on. So quit looking at everything as a negative. People have, and we don't understand life and death. I don't understand life and death. So quit looking at everything as being a negative. Like being here on this planet for 80, 90, 100 years is this the most amazing thing we could ever do. We don't know. Okay. So we know that we don't know. I always say that. So of course, think about all of this stuff that I just left on you. I'm always going to leave you in peace and of course, high frequencies.